All right, truth seekers, it is Monday, and we got a great conversation for you here tonight. I got my brother here, brother Yosef, and we're going to be talking about chemtrails, contrails, chem domes, whatever you want to talk about or whatever you want to call it, pretty much. So, brother, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, my brother. I cannot complain. I'm glad to be here with the rest of the truth seekers, and looking to have a great conversation tonight.
I know. I really have been putting a lot into chemtrails over this last few weeks because we're going to be talking about that this weekend. In fact, let me just give a quick message or kind of an overview here real quick of what's going on. I kind of hear a little, I don't know if that's kind of a reverb back. Is that on your end or my end? Are you good over there? All right. Well, yeah. All right. So he got some little internet frozen. Oh, there he is there. Okay. So let me do a quick, hey, can you hear me okay now?
Sorry about that. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. All right. So, yeah, we're going to be talking about chemtrails for those of you who hopped in. I know a lot of you look up into the sky every day and you be seeing these little marks and things. In fact, little pictures and things that look like this in the skies, right? And sometimes we may see some things like this, and okay, that could be random chemtrails, which is things that are coming out the plane. But when you see a organized formation like this, then we have to then look at that there may be something out there that is not right. So let's just get started there, and then in a few seconds I'll make some quick announcements as we go deeper. What are your thoughts? So I'm going to lean in. You and I have had some offline conversations about this, and I'm gonna bring it up a little later, but you kept saying something about creating a dome. In fact, I was really, the first time I've heard that was when I was on a podcast that is in our group chat that we have, or our Facebook group that we'll talk about in a little bit with one of our co-hosts that I do some of the podcasts with. But we were talking about domes and all of this thing, and I was kind of like, a dome? And then you brought it up later. I don't know if we got deeper into the domes, but whatever it was, when you brought it up, it was kind of like, whoa, familiar. So let's start right there. How would they create a dome?
Well, what they do is they drop these chemtrails, all these chemicals. So I believe when they're creating chem domes, they're dropping certain types of chemicals, heavier materials. Because sometimes they drop things, in my opinion, to just make us sick. They drop things to sometimes they do chemtrails and people start fighting in the city. Murder rates go up, right? These things happen, like it's being dropped on you throughout the day. So they drop it early in the morning. By the end of the day, it's been dropped on everybody. So even if you've been to work all day, you go touch your car to get in your car. You've been exposed to these chemicals. You've been exposed to these chemicals. So when it comes to the domes, it's like they drop them above the clouds, and they kind of, because it's crazy, because when these chemtrails are happening, you can look and see the clouds, but above the clouds, it's gray. You don't see that blue sky that you're used to seeing on a nice, beautiful day. They put a dome around a whole area using these chemicals, and everybody knows what I'm talking about. It's just a gray day. It's 80 degrees outside, 90 degrees, but the sky is just gray, like it's going to rain, and it never rains. That's a chem dome, guys. That is a dome that they're putting around for whatever reasons they want. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I, like I said, when we were talking, and I'm just bringing two conversations into one, not you, but when we did it in our Facebook group, she brought up that, okay, it's sunny one minute, then the sun is gone. It's blocking out the sun. And so I'm like, well, it's a big ass sky, right? And now hearing you talk about the domes itself. Now, one of my dilemmas in this stuff is carried by the wind, okay? And what keeps it from someone, putting some out there, and yet this thing sprays the wind, unless they already got this stuff predetermined, that the wind would carry it and get on their own family, somebody that they love somewhere, because this thing is blanketing these areas or the sky, and then it just. So what are your thoughts about that?
I apologize. I apologize, everybody. My internet is going in and out here.
Well, that's all good.
But I believe sometimes that their family is safe in Switzerland somewhere.
So you're saying they had a family somewhere else completely?
Oh, absolutely. These people that's actually doing this, I don't think their families. They may have people that's connected to them, like from like a a work perspective that's connected to them. But at the end of the day, like the people they really love and care about is somewhere in Switzerland. You know what I'm saying? Living, you know what I mean? Switzerland is one of the only countries that never been to war. I've been telling you for a time the elite live in Switzerland. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So, you know, and I'm pretty sure they don't have chemtrails over there. Pretty sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know what? It could be, but you think about it. I mean, it's the United States, and so you still got people over here, elite people over here, who might not want that on their loved ones, and so you would think it was some type of, you know, plan. Then I start thinking maybe it's some DNA, right? They know, oh, it's going to affect these type of people, right, or certain types of. Or you know, I can't say racist because now everything is more DNA based than anything. So could they be targeting those or DNA? What do you think?
I definitely think they targeting certain DNA groups because I always tell people from a metaphysical perspective that the people with the oldest blood types will evolve on the planet first. The oldest people on the planet will evolve first. That bloodline has nothing to do with race. Because there's people with it, and I'm talking about old blood types to be exact. You know, the old blood types are the oldest blood types. Those blood types will evolve first on the planet, and everybody else will after that. Old blood types belong to every race on the planet.
Yeah.
There's white people with old blood types, black people, Asian people. There's old blood types everywhere.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
I mean by that.
Well, I know old blood
ahead,
type. Well, I know old blood types, and we are going to get into one of our community events on RH negative blood, and one particular blood is to donate to all blood types. I think that's O or whatever from there. Let me give some quick announcements out before we get really deep into these chemtrails real quickly. All right, coming up this weekend, if you are in Dallas, you want to make sure that we are going to, let me put it here first. Look, I got all kind of clicks going on there. All right, there we go. All right, so we're going to actually have a live community event coming up this Saturday. So we're going to be talking about chemtrails and giving an open mic. So if you got something you want to say, make sure you come on out. There is a link in the description that you can come and find, or just go to this particular website that's on the screen right here. So be able to come out, share your thoughts about chemtrails. Then right after that next week, we're going to have a movie night. Now, this is February the 20th, and it's free. Just come on out to the movie night. I got a real good series. In fact, it was actually recommended by Brother Yosef, what we're going to be watching. And so we're going to be playing that movie night, but no kids now. Don't bring any kids. But movie night is going to be a late one. We're going to start around 7. It's like a 3 series. It's like an hour or so each one, but it's going to be great. Then we have Yaya coming in March 14th, and that's going to be a good one. That is going to be a good one. She's coming down, and we're going to go deep in some things, so you can get you some tickets if you're in Dallas. We're also going to be celebrating my birthday right after that, so y'all make sure y'all come and do it. And I'll bring this up again later on in the show, but there's a link right there on the screen. Go check us out. So, brother, March 14th, Yaya is coming to town. And also, I know before we get into that, which is my birthday celebration, you got something going on in February too, right?
Yes. For those in the Texas area, for those who want to come down, I know it's short notice, but February 14th, Valentine's Day, we are going to be doing a new event called the Nu Lyfe event. Okay, and you can go to my website, NULYFE tools.org, nulifetools.org, and you can get the tickets there. We're going to be doing an interactive event for singles and couples. So if you're a couple, you want to come out. If you're singles, you want to come out. We really want a lot of singles as well. So if you want to come out and meet somebody else spiritual that that could possibly be your twin flame or your soulmate, come on out February 14th, family. We're going to have a good time. There will be food there. We're going to have music. We're going to play games, and we're going to interact with each other and have a good time. And that's going to be me, Brother Dreamwise, and Sister D-Ray, his wife. We're all going to sit there, and we're going to do a panel, and we have a special guest coming as well. And we're going to do a panel in the end and just answer questions and go in deep personally between us, and just really talk about some things we can do to strengthen relationships and marriages. Hey, so that'll be February 14th, family.
February 14th. Make sure y'all get down there. Yeah, we'll be doing our chemtrails and our community event there in pretty much. And but you come. I'm inviting you to my birthday party though. My birthday party, March 14th. I'm inviting you out, brother, right here in front of everybody. So
be there. I'll be there.
All right, y'all heard it. He's gonna be there, so y'all come. Yaya's gonna be doing some event. He'll be there, kind of watching a little bit too. And then after that, I hope my team will buy me a cake. If not, I have to get my own cake. But regardless, we're gonna have my birthday and coming. So make sure if any one of y'all want to come, just get the ticket to the event. Just hang on right afterwards, and we're gonna celebrate the birthday. Okay, and you're welcome to come. There's the thing right there, truthversusauthority.org. So let's get into chemtrails a little more deeper. Why would anyone allow someone go up in those skies and spray people anyway? Why would they do this? Why? It's just as blatant as all get out. We can look up and see it, or do they just assume people think that's just airplanes and combustion coming out of it?
Well, I think people definitely consume that, but also they think that's what's going on. They assume that, but at the same time, they tell the military, lower rank military, and weather people and stuff like that, oh, this is just stuff we're spraying in the air to help with global warming. You know what I mean? We're trying to work on global warming, and we don't want these things, so we're trying to combat that, and we need to bounce back some of this heat that's coming from the sun back into the atmosphere. That's what they say. That's what they say. But it's impossible to drop metals, put them in the sky, and the metals not, because of gravity, they not come down. They're going to come down eventually. And that's why a lot of times they'll drop them in the morning and then it'll fall by nighttime. And all night it'll be in your car. Sometimes you have your car outside. That's not just dust that you got to wash off your car. That'd be chemicals sometimes. These are chemicals that you need to wash off your car sometimes.
Really?
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we touch that stuff, we get sick, we get colds. And all of a sudden, the healthcare industry, the people who are owners of some of these cold and flu medicines, all of a sudden their stock increased. You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden they're making more money because they're working with the government on some of these things to actually get people sick. In my opinion, we got to watch what we say on the internet today. But that's what they
allegedly,
that's
right?
What in my opinion, that's what they do. You know what I mean? That's what I would definitely say they do. So yeah.
I think that when you start thinking about some of the stuff that when you hear that's allegedly in some of these chemtrails would be aluminum, number one. I was watching a DVD, which I'll actually bring up some stuff in a little bit about all this, but it was showing the aluminum, that the effects of that aluminum. It's like really micro whatever, but just over time, it does what it's supposed to do. And they had this picture of the brain, which is kind of all pink and luscious. And then they show the brain allegedly that has been consuming chemtrails or whatever, the aluminum that goes through your nose through air, and how definitely it just looked corroded, right? And it just things that you think about. But once again, I look at all of it and say, okay, well, it's playing. They know what's happening. We can see it. People are talking about how they're getting sick, but it's like one of these fights that can't be fought or not. I mean, people are going to court about it. People are complaining about it. People are talking about it, but who's going to go up there and bring down a 747?
That's a good point. And people, every now and then you get a weather person or somebody who will actually come out and tell the truth. You go on YouTube and put in chemtrails, you'll see some weather people say, oh, I used to work for the Air Force, and I'm telling you, they dropping chemicals. This is not what you think it is. You know what I mean? But we've been trained to only agree with things that's put on the news. It's like prime example. I always tell people the government has already admitted aliens are real. They already admitted it. But when everybody went up to the Capitol and was telling their stories, and some of the deep military people who had real ranks in the military telling their stories, and they pretty much admitted it right on Capitol Hill. And their government didn't disagree with anybody and say you're liars and you're conspiracy theorists. That's what they used to be called. But now we see all these things that we call conspiracy theory are real things that's happening.
Yeah.
Even with some of the Jeffrey Epstein files coming out, we're seeing that what people thought was conspiracy is becoming real with these rituals and You know, there was a secret society that popped up in there called the Zodiac Club. If people I don't know if people read into that. The Zodiac Club are, you know, the guy who ran Apple and a few of these rich people, they're in this club called the Zodiac Club, and they're all part of these according to their sign, they do certain things with the Zodiac Club. I don't want to give people too much information. I want you guys to read it. Please go read up on the Zodiac Club and go read up on some of these things that they're talking about, these rituals they did with these children. So this is stuff that was considered conspiracy. Now it's becoming real. That's how you know everything is changing. The truth is coming out, family. We are in a great time. Great time right now.
But you would think that, just like, you know, you own land, right? You and your tribe, y'all got your own land and building your own community, and you own the space around it. Now, we discuss how to defend ourselves, and I think you and I was going about these cloud busters, you know, these devices that you can make that literally you can put around your property or where you are, and it shoots up, and it will dissipate the cloud, right? It's just going to bust the clouds. But what happens? Can we evolve to a point where somebody like, I just need to bring the plane. I need to bring it down. It's over my property. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's over my property. Now, when you think about it, it's moving 200 or 300 miles an hour, and you got 10 acres. That ain't but a half a second.
Right. And at the end of the day, I don't know if that would be a good idea, because now it's an act of war. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You don't put down a military plane, it's on now. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I would just say, hey, let them do what they do. Just defend yourself and block it. You know what I mean? Put up your own dome of protection. And I see somebody mention Oregon. That's exactly what it is. Put up these Oregon cloud busters, and they've been around. I've been making Oregon, y'all, since 2012, 2013. And I'm telling you, this stuff works as far as the cloud busters go. You know what I mean? They definitely work.
Well, I know somebody was just putting in the chat about you don't own your airspace, but heck, you can fly a drone over somebody's house and they can get upset and take your drone down. You know,
and I would say that that's not actually true. People, you can buy something called air rights.
Okay.
And I didn't know this until me and some friends of mine were actually getting ready to buy some land or property in Oklahoma. And the guy said, when we buy this property, we're going to own the land rights, the mineral rights, and the air rights. If you own the air rights, that means that you can put up a wind farm. You can put up the wind things, the turbines.
Okay.
You do that, the air rights. I didn't even know that existed. But yes, it sounds crazy, but you can actually own the air above your land.
Well, it makes sense. Yeah, because I had a family relative or a friend or something. This was probably about 15 years ago. They was in some court case where they had about 100, maybe about 200 acres, right? And it was in their family, and the acres, they owned the land of the acres. And I don't know whatever happened to the mineral rights or whatever, but there was a company and property adjacent to theirs, which was at least 100 acres away, drilled in an angle, came under their property, got their oil.
Man, you know, and these are the things that happen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
somebody always want to try to find a way, you know what I mean, to do something. So we gotta do the best we can to protect things, y'all. We gotta do the best we can to protect what we have. And if there's a will, there's a way. I'm a person, I have hope, y'all. And nobody's gonna snatch my hope away.
Yeah.
I'm not a doom and gloom person. I believe that the system is changing for the better. I'm not going to sit here and believe that these people will always have power, because they never always had power. That's the truth. You know what I'm saying? At one time, we had the power. We was building great civilizations, and I believe that time is going to come back.
All right. So for people that see chemtrails in their skies, you know, and they're walking outside one morning and they're seeing it, I mean, what do? Do you turn around and go back in the house, or you go out and mow the lawn? You're still going to breathe the air. You see what is happening, you know, what do? Do you get some type of filtration mask that morning and say, okay, I'm going to put this on because allegedly there's something in the air? Now we're talking 30,000 feet up in the sky. So, you know, and then we'll get into blocking the sun next. Yeah, I think that's a great conversation to have there. But what would someone do? What would you do? You walk out, you see 3 or 4, or let me put a picture on the screen here. You walk out and you know, get out in the morning with that Lion King yawn, like, and then you look up and boom, you go back in the house. You know, you like turn around and go back. You be like, damn, they up to it again.
Right. And what does that look like? That looks like a grid system. If you look at that picture, you just put, and it's almost like they're trying to create a system, a grid system, which eventually becomes this dome system. You know what I'm saying? And so what I would do, I know because I've been through when I lived in New York. New York is one of the worst places to live if you want to have clean air. I'm telling you right now. New York it's just crazy up there. And I used to go outside when I owned my house up there. I went outside many mornings and seen checkerboards. You know what I'm saying? Just crisscrosses. So what I started doing, families, I started creating these orgone. I used to get the big buckets from Home Depot, and I used to create the orgone cloud busters. They got simple ways to create them, and they got more advanced ways, and they got ways that people just do to make it look pretty. I'm not with the pretty stuff. I think the pretty looking stuff is cool, but I think the more compact it is, the more power it's going to have. You know what I mean? And I would just get one single one. I will hide it now because that black helicopter thing is true. Where you got a lot of them out, and they start making holes in these chemtrails, clearing out the sky. They're going to start wondering what's going on over here, and they're going to have these helicopters going to fly around taking pictures of the area. And they got machines that can read where this orgone is. So what I would do is I would hide it under my bushes, hide it in the backyard next, real close to the porch where they won't see it. And yeah, it used to work to the point where in the future, they will literally make X's above my house, like literal X's. I go outside and look up and there's an X. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, you know what I'm saying? So, but you got to do what you got to do, family. Right. So, and of course, you guys know upstate is cold. It's cold in New York, man. I don't have to tell anybody up there what time it is, but it's very cold. So imagine that. Plus, you look up in the sky, you got checkerboards up there, chemtrails, and all this type of stuff. And people are getting sick. You want to do something, do what you got to do. So I used to get those, family, and also these are right here. You can also use pyramids, right? These are some of the pyramids I made recently. I like to pack my pyramids with material, right? Nothing against people who put the big crystals and colorful and the copper wires. That's nice, and you can make some powerful ones if you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
I like to pack mine with material, and the more you pack it, there's a difference, y'all, between orgonites and orgone. Some of you guys may notice, some of you guys may not notice. Orgonite is Wilhelm Reich, right? Orgone is another guy named Carl something. I forgot his name. Not Carl Jung, but it's another guy. He created orgonite, and what he found out was that orgonite, if you put powder in there, powdered metal, instead of using big chunks of metal, you're going to have thousands and thousands of layers of orgone, which is going to create a more powerful orgone. So this is why I jam-pack mine. Here's a smaller version of it, right? I jam-pack mine with material, right? And this does have metal in it, but it's more powdered. It has crystals in it, and I'm gonna tell you guys a cheap way to use crystals. You just get you some sand. Go to Home Depot and buy some play sand. If you look up sand in a microscope, you're looking at thousands of different types of crystals. It's a cheap way to. So what I would do when I created my cloud busters, I would go get a $5. I think it was a 30-pound bag of sand. That's a lot of sand, y'all. 30-pound bag of sand. I would get that, mix it in there with the metal and the resin with the sand, and I will put a copper pipe directly in the middle. And I would let it hard. I would never take it out the bucket. I would leave it in the bucket so I can move it the way I wanted to. And I would have an orgone right there. And the energy would shoot up to the. So I would say this right here, you would need at least 3 or 4 of them to make a hole. I would put 3 or 4 of these next to each other to create a hole in the sky. Or not in a hole in the sky, but a hole in the chem dome. Put 2 or 3 of these together. All right. But if you create something bigger, like a 5-gallon bucket will be incredible. But if you even have a 3-gallon bucket, 1-gallon bucket, all you need is sand, metal, and resin. Put that copper pipe in the middle. You got your a cloud buster. If you don't want to do all that, just go online and buy it. But they work, guys. They really, really work.
Yeah, we probably might need to maybe do a class. You know, we got that training center up here in Dallas, so maybe we get up here and do a whole. Or can we do it inside, like make some, or or the chemicals on that?
We'll probably have to find a park or something to do it in because the fumes. Well, if we want to make them that day, you're gonna have to use a stronger resin, like the Bondo, and that's gonna have a fume to it. So you don't want to be inside with that. But if you're gonna use a softer resin, it'll take 24 hours to harden.
Okay, then we can just kind of, well, that's cool. Well, we'll figure it out and pretty much, and make some before you move to Dallas and stuff, and then we'll just kind of, you know, there'll be a housewarming gift, big ass, yeah, a big ass buster, or whatever. But yeah, all right. So once again, how would someone know, based on your opinion, that they're being affected by chemtrail? What type of alleged symptoms would somebody probably, or you probably have noticed,
I would say at first it was just probably people getting sick around you. Everybody's sick. There's something going around like a flu. Maybe that Rona's going back around. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. Or in my opinion, they also use it for psychological warfare. I believe they do it sometimes, and the murder rate goes up. You know what I'm saying? I believe they do that. I do believe they do that. They create crime, and people are just being affected by these chemicals and don't know. You know what I'm saying? And don't know. So I would say they affect us in all kind of ways like that. You would know you're affected if you're not acting like yourself. If you start getting really sick for some reason,
right.
You don't know.
Yeah, I think it's something that
and be careful in places as well that the weather changes. Right?
Okay. Because you
Somebody
mean they're
said skin
changing.
rash.
Oh. You said someone said skin rash. Yeah.
Yeah, somebody said skin rash, can't breathe, heat sensitive. All those things are true as well. Absolutely. It's a lot. It's a lot of things they do. It used to, in my opinion, it used to just be a sickness you would get, and I think they upped it now to like they're literally doing psychological warfare. If they know there's going to be, let's say there's going to be a bunch of people marching, and they want to use it for their advantage, they may drop some chemtrails the day before, and by the time them people get there, next thing you know, somebody done got shot. People start overreacting. This is real stuff, y'all. Real stuff.
Again, this is where, let's say, like you said, some of these people in Switzerland or other countries, but then there got to be people and I know I saw something here. Someone said that they don't even allow chemtrails in Florida. Now, also, we've heard the term cloud seeding, like they're doing this to create storms and rain or whatever. And they was blatantly talking about that on one of the news where they put whatever up there, and then whatever it does, draw in all of the rain and cloud until it get heavy enough to drop. So, could they now spray a cloud, allegedly with some chemtrail, then turn around and come back with cloud seeding, and then turn around and it drops and within the rain? It's just kind of weird that we look at this, we see what's happening, everybody see what's happening, but yet where's the defense mechanism?
Yeah, I believe as well, everybody who's watching this right now, everybody in America has been affected with what they call nano dust particles.
Yeah.
But this is something else they're dropping. They're dropping these nanoparticles, and now you have nanite technology inside of you. You're breathing this stuff in. Speaking of chemtrails, I even with me getting I got a little cold. I'm like looking up in the sky, like, man, it must have been too many chemtrails outside. Some of us can't avoid it. We got to take our children to school. We got to go to work. You know what I'm saying? We got to go take care of business, and it's like it can't be avoided, and they know that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But yes, I believe nanoparticles is in the food. Nanoparticles is in the air. You know what I mean? We're breathing this stuff in. I'm not saying this stuff to scare anybody. I'm saying this stuff in, like, one of the things I believe people should do at least once a month is do a what do you call it? Activated charcoal cleanse. Activated charcoal is incredible for getting rid of metals in the body. And there's other things too, like oil of oregano. But I know activated charcoal was incredible for getting rid of if you just took a vaccination and you had to take it and you didn't want to take it, you got at least 2 days before it really settled on your system. So go home and take some activated charcoal. You can pull that right out. You know what I'm saying? If you take activated charcoal, you might feel a release 2 days later. You feel lighter because you got all these metals out of your body. So I would definitely recommend activated charcoal as well.
Wow. And also, I have something that's on my website for those of you who really want to get deeper into chemtrails. There's a website link that you see right there, truthversusauthority.org. Here is something that we don't really offer a lot. We was going to just let people, when they come this Saturday, get a hold to this. This is a USB drive. Okay, let me just put it up on the screen for y'all. It's a USB drive, and this will make you cringe when you need to learn more about chemtrails. On this is, I think, 49, I would say 49 or 49 hours, like 40 different DVDs on chemtrails, different stuff, and geoengineering that we put together a while back once we start going through all of this. So some of this stuff is an hour long. You know, you will learn a lot. If you was to buy some of these DVDs or way some of these websites sell them, you'll spend $500, $600, $700. I have it on sale, $75 for, and it also, you know, support what we're doing. But it's, you don't need a whatever to play this. You just put it in the TV or whatever. It's got the files that'll just pop right up in the computer. And again, it's all on here. 49 hours of 40 different DVDs of chemtrails. Okay. So the list would be in that box, and then you can just look at the number, pick it up, print it up, the title, and get some knowledge there. You can go to Truth Versus Authority right now. They usually it's $99 because I just put it up, but it's $75 if you guys want. I'll ship it out. We already have them ready to go. This was for our event Saturday. So I'll just give you guys an offer to get you some of these, man. And this is a collection I think, Yosef, everybody should have, because you can't go, you can't be missed with all this information. And you can stand up to anybody who want to tell you about chemtrails that's not true. And you can break it down in geoengineering, the whole 9 yards. We put all this together, brother, and his brother.
Mm-hmm. Powerful, powerful. I definitely recommend that, guys. Definitely recommend it.
Oh yeah. So like I said, y'all can go to the website. They're already ready to be shipped because again, we're having them for this Saturday. And now send this out, and you spend all month long learning and watching everything that you need to know on chemtrails and geoengineering and what's happening, because this is information you got to have. And so it's already there for you. So, you know, let's go into one of the things that I think is important when it comes down to it. And if the question is why, okay. Now, it is said when we were doing our podcast on our Facebook group, and matter of fact, if any of you in here, you can go to Facebook right now and look up Truth Versus Authority, the community, and make sure you get on our Facebook page and stay in tune. And there was a podcast there that me and Leanda, if y'all need to know the name, was talking about. Now, one of the things that she brought up was that she felt that it was direct targeting a Pacific community. Like they just knew exactly where they was putting this stuff. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, as far as the you talking about as far as the chemtrails?
Yeah,
absolutely. I definitely believe there's a behind the scenes a shadow government that's implementing these things, especially in the ghettos. Okay. You know what I'm saying? The ghettos, certain parts of the communities, the colder environments. You know, because it's easier to get people sick up there. I definitely believe they're targeting certain areas. You know what I'm saying? Even as far as I saw somebody mention HARP and DARPA. I think that this is definitely a part of that, because they want to create a storm. They definitely can manipulate the atmosphere using these chemicals. You know what I mean? So yeah, right. They definitely use this as a targeted weapon system. That's why I'm a believer that World War III would never be bullets and guns and bombs. I think the regular people think that. These people are way more advanced than that now. We'll just stop your water. We'll stop water coming to your country. How about that? We'll make sure it don't rain anymore. You know, that's what happened to Iran one time. They just stopped. They stopped the rain. I think it was a couple years ago, and all of a sudden they couldn't get any crop. Their crops couldn't get any water. You know, they play
a whole different game now. A whole different game.
You know, they'll change the weather in your area. And I think it's only a few major companies. I know China has one, Russia has one, Canada has one, America has one, and maybe Australia. It's only a few countries that actually have a weather modification system, but they got them, y'all.
Well, now we talk about HARP now, right?
HARP, but still tied in with the chemtrails because they're dropping stuff to make a lot of this change in the atmosphere to make it work. A lot of that stuff is nanotech technology they're using to influence the atmosphere, without a doubt.
Okay.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
Well, I mean, I think that if you really, again, when you just said the frontier of the war, you know, not only in the mind, you know, we can talk about Venezuela and how they, you know, I think they had one of their soldiers who was part of that when they got their president and said that, you know, they just came out of nowhere and he was like 20 men took out 200 within seconds, and they had some kind of devices that they turned on and made them all just fall to the ground. And he was like, he said it's stuff that they've never seen before. And what was so ironic about it, he said these drones just showed up of nowhere that was undetectable. And then I'm thinking like, all right, so now we know when they did the first human test on those things back in New York when the drones was everywhere and people thought it was some other, that's them testing the stuff on our own people, so to speak, because they couldn't put them in other countries' airspace because those countries will say it was an act of war. So why not turn them loose on our own people? And people were saying these things was big, like Chevys, and we had no way of detecting them. And I'm like, yeah, it wasn't China. We would have been on drop, you know, whatever, you know. But once again, it's always that they're testing everything on us first. It's like we're the, you know, and why are they doing that? Because obviously the truth of us being the property of the corporation in the United States, and they can treat their property any way they want.
Absolutely. And I know, I ain't gonna say I know for a fact, but I will tell you guys, I'm very sure that they had that machine underground during the first Million Man March. The first Million Man March, the government was extremely afraid because 1 million men showed up. Never happened in history.
Gotcha.
Over 1 million men showed up. Black men to be exact, to the White House. They thought that we was about to go to war. I know a bunch of men who are elders today that were there. They said they had tanks. They had military everywhere. Helicopters flying above. Military helicopters above. Because they were afraid. And underground, Dr. Delbert Blair, who, for those who know who he is, he talked about how they had a weapons machine underground in case they needed to turn it on. And this is the same weapons machine they used in Venezuela. And what it really did was it made them feel some kind of way, and they lost their hearing. They couldn't hear anything. So this is why the drones were able to come in. They were able to be taken out because they can't hear who's coming. Their senses are off. And they were able to take out all these people because they had their senses were all thrown off. Just from frequencies. From using frequencies. So yes, this stuff gets crazy. So I think the World War III will be on the internet because that's where it's going to now, guys. It's to the point now where it's like it's digital and they can hurt you now. They can shut off your banks. They can, you know, I think they said Bank of America was just hacked by somebody. You know what I'm saying? They can do all these things. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's where it's at now, guys. That's where it's at now.
Well, I think that, yeah, you know, and now don't get me wrong. Warfare should always evolutionize itself, right? Because, you know, and that was in the movie Shaka Zulu when he changed the warfare tactics. And next thing you know, he's controlling the whole Zulu land, you know. But when my stance takes when we're used as the guinea pigs to test those things, when we are, you know, pretty much the people that are sitting here. Now, let's try to go deeper now. Let's go, and this is a conversation that I do try to go into because, you know, my background with extraterrestrials and my background with UFOs and being a UFO investigator and all of these things that I kind of go a little deeper there. I'm going to transition this conversation a little more kind of, it could be awkward for some folks, but let's talk about people who I would consider the word chosen ones, people that are, you know, kind of got this extra DNA stuff going on. Are some of this stuff a threat to them, period? Not just everybody, but could they be targeting other things as well, or people? And when I say starseeds, earth angels, light workers, or I'm just using this because these are mostly the people who wake up in the morning and be like, none of this stuff is right. I don't even like what I'm looking at. The sun ain't the same color, just whatever. None of it is right.
Absolutely. And I like to call them this because I hear a lot of secret orders call them this Messiah seeds. These
Messiah
Messiah,
seed? Okay.
Messiah, I call them, there's many names for it. Messiah seeds, chosen ones. Messiah seeds or chosen ones, they definitely have a more active DNA than normal humans. Sometimes they're born like that. Sometimes it activates. So I would say that the government, they don't get affected in the same way psychologically or even physically that a lot of other people get affected.
Mm.
They'll get regular stuff, colds and stuff like that, but something may be going on and everybody may start losing their mind. Chosen ones don't. They have this calmness on the inside that they understand because they're not being affected by the same frequencies. So when a chosen one is going to be targeted, they have to target them directly. They have to target them directly. You know what I mean? Okay. And that's a threat. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of like a threat towards them. So I would say when it comes to chosen ones, yeah, or these Messiah seeds, and there's different levels to Messiah seeds. You got level 1, level 2. You got Messiah seeds that just woke up, and in a lot of ways they know it because their DNA is giving off a ping, and they kind of pick up on the frequency of these entities. And this is 100% true, y'all. They know your astrology. They know exactly who you are. Excuse me if I went out again, but they know exactly who you are. So I would say that when it comes to them, they definitely have to target them differently, and they may not get affected in the same way. This is why it's important for us to do our spiritual work and activate our higher selves, so we don't get affected. And if you notice, the number one thing they want to keep you away from is your spiritual growth.
Yeah,
they don't care about all this stuff. They'll pretend like they care, but they don't want you knowing spiritual knowledge because that's one of the weapons you can use to fight them.
Yeah, I think what they call a junk DNA that they try to claim that's out there is the very blocking techniques that's just what it's all about. When that DNA is activated, that or that spiritual growth begins to happen, then it's the awareness of it. And I think once you're consciously aware of something, then this as so within, so without, or as within, or so without, whatever body begins to shield itself from, because it's transformed by our thoughts and minds or whatever it's going to do. And once your DNA knows, hey, I'm not going to let this get me, then maybe something is formed within you, right, or activated that's what they don't want you to know. And I'm just kind of speaking in jargon there, but just saying that there's something about the inner cells that makes this stuff a little impregnable for them to try to get themselves through.
I agree. And when it comes down to I wanted to say something else about this I'm sorry, y'all. I lost my train of thought. I hate when I do that. I was like, man, I'm hitting that 40 plus, man. That 40 plus.
All right, then.
What were you saying again, brother?
Well, I was just we was talking about DNA. We was talking about you were saying spiritually they don't want us to grow there because obviously that is one of the linchpins of it. And I'm saying, okay, if we start thinking spiritually, how powerful is that for us to then, from the inside, does it activate, and let me say in layman's terms, some type of shield within this body? Do all of this knowledge or activation, DNA activation, makes you not accessible to some of the techniques and things that they're doing with these chemtrails or anything that's out there, really?
Yes, absolutely. Because one thing we have to understand, magic is nothing but technology. That's all you're doing. You're dealing with a different, a more advanced form of technology than what you would look at on TV as far as mechanics or, computers and stuff like that. Magic is just a more advanced form of technology. So whatever they're using technologically, if you evolve yourself to a certain level, their stuff can't affect you. You're way above it. You're way above that. And your body is technology. The fact that you have an aura system, which has been proven by scientists that you have a field of energy. Of course, when you prove it to them, they got to change the word. It can't just be called aura anymore. They call it the bio. It's the bio field. You know what I'm saying? So they have to make it theirs. It ain't metaphysics, it's quantum physics. You know what I mean? So, the thing is, like, when we advance ourselves to a certain level, they can't really touch you. They can't really touch you because these people on a high level, this is what they're doing. They're doing magic. They're using regular technology on the regular people. but they're using magic on the masses because they know if the masses think one way, it'll stop their magic. You know what I'm saying? Because your mind affects the reality that you live in. So they can get a group of people to think one way. Let's go kill somebody. Let's have an ICE agent go kill somebody and get a bunch of people angry. They can use that energy and do spells with it.
Yeah, that's what someone was talking about, that when they did this ICE, that was supposedly so powerful and it was so energetic that it was what probably caused that massive snowstorm, so to speak, that was more than usual. Now I think you laughed about it and I said, well, it is wintertime and it's supposed to do that, right? But of course, the anomaly in other areas, but supposedly it was energetically formed from all of the energy of everyone saying the word ice. And of course, the universe don't know any difference between ice the people or ice baby or Vanilla Ice the song. I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And these are the words they use to affect reality. I did about 2 weeks before silver went up. I did a song called Silver Frequency, and the whole song said, "Put me on a silver frequency." And 2 weeks later, the silver shot up to $100. Now, am I saying that I did this? No, but you can't tell me that I can't. I didn't do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I accept that in my reality, because why in the world would I do a song about silver? I knew what I was doing. I did a silver frequency song using what? Technology. And it affected the whole reality, right? Now you can't play with that type of power all the time. Some people say, why you don't do the XRP frequency? Why don't you do the whatever frequency? You don't understand power. I was just watching the movie Weapons. I recommend everybody watch that. You know what I'm saying? The movie Weapons, because this is what I mean. Like, this lady was able to take over a whole town of kids, a whole area of kids just from using simple blood magic. I'm looking at this thing in a TV show like, this is nothing. But if you don't understand it, it's horrible. It's simple things like this we need to understand, because you can affect your reality. I'm not saying people need to learn blood magic. I'm saying people need to learn magic and learn spirituality, which is not just magic. It's also mysticism, so that you can become a better individual as far as protecting yourself. You know what I mean? All this stuff matters.
All right. So here's what I want you all to do in the audience. We got enough people in here. If you are on Facebook, okay, listen to me. If you're on Facebook, I want you to go to Facebook some kind of way tonight, today, whatever. Put in the Facebook chat, like when you join our Truth versus Authority community right here. Listen, it's right there on Facebook. That's the name of it, Truth versus Authority community. We got 114 members. We just put it up about a month or so ago, and we're growing. And also, this is where you can also participate in sharing, as long as you're not spamming, some type of advertisement. But if you got something you want to share or you want to be heard and say it, this is the place that you want to do it. There's no judgment and things there or anything. But I would love for you to go join our Facebook page, and also, put in a chat or do a new post that you're new, you heard it from tonight or whatever. And then the members, everybody can welcome you. Do that, because I think it's time for the synergy of all of us to be vigilant on finding what's happening. And so if there's something that's going on out there, post it. It's something that, I'm not saying repost other people's content. That's not what I want you to do. I need your worldview. I need your participation, your thoughts. What do you think about something? Maybe you put an image or something, but just don't simply share someone else's thoughts if it's not yours or you're not understanding, because we're developing truth speakers, right? And you're one of them, and you're somebody that we do want. So again, Truth versus Authority community on Facebook. It is a group. Search for it. Join us. Join the group. Do a welcome post that, or I'm here post, whatever you want to do. And let me know. And, one of us will me or the admins will personally say hello to you, and stuff like that. Yosef, there was a few other things that I want to, and not just, I'm just talking about this conversation, but you brought the word up that I think a lot of people who will listen to this, that's only what I call the edge of everything we talk about, get a little leery when they hear the word magic, right? So I want you to kind of just give the overview of magic, right? Because we think of Hollywood, or we think about, people just doing magical stuff, or people think in their mind is magic is this illusion of unbelievable things. But magic falls in a lot of categories, from word spells to anything you can think of. And we'll tie it back into our conversation of chemtrails. But let's start there. How powerful, or do you consider chemtrails magic too? Is everything magic, So I just want you to dive into that whole thing.
Yes. Everything actually is magic, and
Okay.
everything can be affected by magic, including technology, including physical technology. You can use it for magical purposes, physical technology. Magic is simply using the elements to change something in your reality, to make it simple. Earth, air, fire, water, spirit. Some people call it earth, air, fire, water, ether. Some people deal with 4 elements. Some people deal with 6 elements. It all depends on what level you want and what you're trying to do.
Okay.
This magic has always been practiced by people in the planet until recently. We haven't taught because of Christianity and religion, which is that's a whole nother thing. That'll take us to another topic. But we have been taught by religion that this stuff is evil. No, everything could be evil, right? You could use a gun to shoot somebody and kill somebody, or use a gun to protect your family. You can use magic to protect your family and help people, help the world, or you can use magic to hurt people. But of course, and when you look at history, there's only one group of people that actually use magic to actually win wars, and that was the Haitians. They won that war against Napoleon, and they never forgot that. That's why when the Haitians stuff happens in Haiti, it's almost like the world doesn't care. It's like people want Haiti to suffer because they're angry at Haiti. Yeah. You know what I mean? No, they use technology that was on another level. You know what I'm saying? And some people saying, well, spiritually they're suffering because of that. No, it's because these people, a lot of them now are Catholics and Christians and all that type of stuff. They don't have this same, they're not into the same power that they was into before. So magic, at the end of the day, there's 2 ways to evolve spiritually. You can do it the magical way, or you can do it the mystical way. What is the mystical way? The mystical way is Buddhism. The people who meditate, they're over in Tibet. All these things are different forms of technology, guys. Technology. I used to be a Christian minister. I was in church. My wife. I was born and raised in that stuff. I know both sides. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I know both sides, family. And I'm trying to tell people, I ain't trying to convince nobody. I'm just trying to tell you that the world you live in, magic is being done to you every day. When you watch TV, magic is being done to your subconscious mind. When you watch the internet, magic is being done to your subconscious mind. When you're driving around looking at billboards, magic is being done to you. Of course, because you don't see it and you don't study magic, you don't believe it. That's fine. Yeah. They hope that you don't believe it. That's how they stay in power. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense when you think of the word abracadabra, and and the meaning of it, of my words, and and all of these things. And I think that we've heard it. I mean, a lot of us as kids used to walk around the house, abracadabra, and you want the door to open, and and not knowing that you were just working the mind of things, and maybe it wasn't literally in your face, but but you was practicing. At some point.
It's funny because some people say they don't believe in spirituality like that, right?
Yeah.
And we know for a fact there's Catholics who done got rid of demons, exorcisms, right? There's people who have gotten rid of in church. I grew up in a church where I saw demons come out of people in the name of Jesus. You know what I'm saying? I've seen these things. You know what I mean? So of course people from there will challenge me and say, well, how could you leave it if you saw that? Because I understand how it works.
Yeah.
I'm not a guy. I'm obsessed with learning and understanding the spiritual world. I'm obsessed with it. And I understand how things work. If you believe in the power of Mickey Mouse, you can get rid of a demon. It's all about willpower.
Really?
First of all, you got to open yourself up to one. And then you got to close yourself off to one. That's what it is, family. Okay. So all you need is the right mental power. That's really what you need at the end of the day.
Well, I mean, yeah.
And I'll say the last thing, how do demons get inside of people? Well, people open doors for them. They drink too much liquor. You get drunk all the time. You know what I'm saying? These are people who don't believe in spirituality, don't believe in magic, but they smoke a ton of cigarettes. Cigarettes actually open up your holes in your aura. This is a fact. They let bad thoughts in, bad intentions. Drinking too much liquor. I'm not judging anybody. I'm just saying these are things that they gave us to create openings for them. Too much, nothing wrong with drinking, but if you drink too much and you get drunk a lot, you're gonna have a bad aura. It's gonna open up yourself to negative energy. And the last thing I'll say, drugs. If you do drugs, you're gonna open yourself up. But these are the things the world deals with to let these things in.
Yeah, I mean, I can share a lot of things, when it comes down to, but I tell people now that, I have a magical world. And it wasn't until, I started really getting into things. And of course, you and I talk, and a lot of other people that I have around me, that it became from within. Now is, so without, right? And so it is how we see it. And if you then, but now let's go back. We're not just saying it because it's a magical thing to say, but if that's the realm, or if that's the rules or the natural law, part of natural law of what's going on here, then it actually works. So what would be another softer term that people may just, because people use the word manifestation. Is that magic?
You can say metaphysics. That's what I consider myself.
Okay.
A metaphysics. Yeah. Everybody's scared of the word occult because they don't understand what it means. It sounds like a scary word. It means to hide. It means to hide, but a safe word that people feel comfortable with is metaphysics.
Mm-hmm.
Metaphysics or manifestation and stuff like that's fine. Manifestation. But we can go back to any culture, you name it, they all practice magic.
Okay.
They did it for a reason. The Mayans, the Incans, the Native Americans, the Egyptians, the Greeks, the Romans. And then right around 2,000 years ago, they started giving us religion. And from the beginning of humanity, we've always practiced magic. We've always connected with nature. And then they give us religion and we lose. And now all of a sudden, these bad people are in power. Think about that.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah. I mean, if you really look at it, and for those of you, I get a lot of emails of people wanting to ask a lot of questions and different things. And a lot of, I'm pretty much an open book, especially when it comes down to what is happening out here, from these UFO to whatever you think is happening in your life, and the symbolism of all of this stuff. And just quite recently, if you go to truthversusauthority.org, all next week, I kind of open myself up to some phone consultations or video chats or whatever, and you can book some time for that. And I'm only saying that because I definitely want to be more available and also support the mission of what we're doing, because there are times that I will be talking with people, and it's just, and sometimes, you want to be available and you want to help, but then you want to only take the people that seriously, that are really wanting some solutions or ideas. I can't promise solutions, of course, but at least some direction or connection to some of the things that you may want answers to. So once again, our new website is truthversusauthority.org. It's been overhauled there. You can get to what we're talking about, chemtrails, and get you a copy. I don't have many of these. We don't have like 8 or 9 of these. This is 49 hours of, different 20 or 40 different DVDs that I would say you can just push this USB. You don't need a DVD player. Just put it in a computer, plug it into the TV, pick, from this list of all of them. You'll see the numbers, and then you pick it and you watch and learn. And because again, knowledge is power, especially when it comes down to geoengineering and chemtrails. And so we got a lot of things that we're doing. Again, if you are in Dallas or Texas, period, make sure you put in the chat that you're in Texas, because we need to start responding to you guys. To do that, we have a text list. We have all kinds of stuff because we're building a live community. And as Brother Yosef mentioned, go to his website. He has an event that he's doing on February the 14th. We have a community, kind of a mixture, February the 14th as well. So if you're searching for love, go there. If you're searching for some truth that day, or true love, it could be both a little bit, go there, come here. If you're in Texas, but do something. You got plenty of things you can do that day, and then go out with your boo and stuff that night with a little more perspective on life. Or in his case, maybe you meet boo, all right, and all those things, and we just kind of go from there. But I'm not going to hold you too much. Maybe another 20 minutes, brother, and then we'll get out of here. But and for those of you who already just joined our Facebook community, I saw a few of you did it already. I can give you a shout out. So I want to thank you for listening to us and going right over to Facebook and becoming part of the community. If I can just hit the button here, there was something Lolita or whatever. I think she was in here in the chat. So thank you for going to our Facebook group and doing that and being part of that. So we have our godmother of the channel. She's in Mission, Texas, as well. So, all right, let's go back to, I said cloud seeding earlier. Now, at one point in time, cloud seeding was supposed to be beneficial to countries just as much as they turning off the water, people that are not getting any water. And all right, we can make it rain. Do you think some of these tsunamis and these bigger storms, bigger things are happening more because of what they're doing, or what is your thought on it?
I think some of it is what they're doing, and I think some of it is natural.
Okay.
Some of it is natural. Tornadoes, they carry a lot of negative energy, of course. They're destructive. Hurricanes are destructive, but it has been proven in the past that shamans have been able to steer tornadoes. They've been able to dissipate tornadoes just by having certain emotional energies. We know this is a fact because they have a rain dance that they can call rain. So dealing with technology, once again, from a magical perspective, we have been using magical technology to manipulate the weather. This is something that's been proven with the Native Americans. They can manipulate the weather. I just watched a video a couple months ago of a guy who did a documentary on a tribe, and they was doing their dancing, and sure enough, rain came. They was able to do that. You hear about these skinwalkers and all these people who do these transformative things. While we got to go to a laboratory and mix genes together to make whatever we want to make. When these people can just transform. So what I'm telling you guys is their stuff is low budget. You know what I'm saying? We have a higher vibrational thing if we understood who we were. All we have to do is understand who we were. Who we are, excuse me. And all these things is possible. I saw somebody said that it was evil in the food. That's a fact. They use the food to do evil things and put bad things in the food. But a lot of people get stuck there. It's deeper than the food. The food is 100% true. But it's also the air. They're trying to affect all aspects of it. You know what I mean? They're trying to create seeds that only grow one time. They're trying to mess with you in every way, fam.
Yeah, I think that
they're trying to mess with you in every way.
I put a memo out once to our organization, and I was telling everybody to go find seeds, go to these seed banks, and just, if you want to find seeds that can last for years and years, this is what you want to hand down to your children, for sure, because everything is begin seedless. And if they're doing this, it's because eventually you can't grow your own food. But you're talking about a commodity that you can have, that if you can, maybe put some on the windowsill or grow your own carrots, or I don't know what, but food, period. And this stuff is happening right in plain sight. This is why our whole community exists from Truth versus Authority, because we believe that there should be a rebellion of thought. I'm using that from what is really happening out here. And of course, we take it all the way back down to what Brother Yosef just mentioned, of you being trying to remember who you are, because at some point, if I was reading, there was a time when Earth was created, or our species were created, food wasn't something that we had to eat to survive. It never had been until there was some type of genetic creation, or what I would call the business side of it. Say, hey, we need to feed our carnivores and predators or whatever. And all of a sudden we started relying on food. But if you go back to all of the alien stories and some of the stuff that was written, a lot of them didn't feed off, they didn't have to eat certain things. Now, all right, I can't say that was 100 million year plan, that let's get them to eat. But at some point, we were foraging our own foods and healthily growing them out of the earth. And at that time, the dirt and stuff wasn't contaminated and all these things. And so it was just a happy medium for growth. But it's like they're coming at us all ways, everything. And I think the other part of Yosef, what this is, they micro do this thing, right? So most people will probably think that you're just going to look up and the chemtrails is going to just get into your eyeball and it's going to just burst. But it's like little bitty stuff over time, or maybe generational, because whoever's behind this, they're not playing 100-year game like we're thinking we're living. They're not playing a 200-year game. These people are playing thousands of years. So maybe it takes 10,000 years for some super genetic thing of transfer or evolution that we are, but they're playing the long game. And we are sitting here, just looking at a daily thing. You know what I mean? What are your thoughts on it? Can you hear me still?
No? I'm sorry, that last part you went out, brother. My website, my internet went out.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is
a long game and it went out.
Yeah. So they play a long game. We're thinking maybe generation to our kids. These people are playing long games, like evolution type games, Yeah.
Yes, I agree with you 100%, man. And because they know that they have to keep us here. Some people may not believe that the planet is ascending, but it is. The planet is changing. This is why they're doing things. Like you said, they're playing a long game. Look at China. They created their own sun. These people done created their own sun and launched it into the sky and turned night to day. You know what I'm saying? They're on another level. You know what I'm saying? They showing, hey, if the system crashed, we got our own sun. Or they know something.
I would go with that part.
That, hey, we know y'all trying to block the sun out. And in case y'all try to do it with us, we're going to let the world know we have our own sun that we can use.
And you know what's so strategic about that? They're saying we got our own sun and we can put it over China only.
Yeah.
Not like the sun that, well, if they put it up in the sky, we're going to get a little part of that. No, you're not. We just no, right. It's not going to work like that.
They selling their sun. You need a sun? It's going to cost you. You know what I mean? It's crazy. The world is going to a wild place. But I just have hope, my brother. I just have hope that we're going to a better place. I don't believe in that's always going to be bad. Trouble don't last always, brother. You know what I'm saying? It looks bad because of these people having power. But if people pay attention in the world, they also fighting. These people are fighting at the time.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who's in office. Yeah. Nobody should ever care about who the president is. You know what I'm saying?
That's people a distraction. Do. That's the biggest distraction of them all.
Right. But if the president's in and this president's doing things that's going to help get out of your way, then that okay. You can talk about that president stuff like that. But as far as voting, I'm not against people voting, but I don't believe in voting because it's like, what's the point? They're all part of the same family. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They're all part of the same family. So at the end of the day, and then it goes deeper than that. I'm always telling people, Luciferians and Satanists. You know what I mean? These things get crazy, y'all. And so, we're in a very interesting time now. And I'm grateful to be alive right now to see this time, not just from doom and gloom perspective, but also from a financial perspective. I think that a lot of people are going to become millionaires soon from cryptocurrency, and it's a lot of people ignoring that. They're ignoring the crypto space, but the great wealth transfer is happening right in front of our eyes. Am I back?
Yeah, you
can y'all hear me?
You didn't go anywhere.
Okay. This Clarity Act may pass. We want to be hopeful that this Clarity Act may pass, and these things happen to push the world forward because we're going to a digital age. Everybody better get ready for it. You know what I mean? And AI, we can't even. AI is just. I mean, man, and the scary part. This is just the beginning. Yeah. This is just the beginning, and now I'm hearing they're talking about 6G could be launching by the end of the year. 6G.
Hey, they're just moving everything up. I'm gonna double back on when you were just talking about voting and everything else, and I want to give people a little more clarity on what really happens, and this is what many people should know. I mean, when we think about our presidential campaigns and everything else, I mean, we see right on TV, they talk about electoral votes and, how many electoral votes the Florida have and all this. And that really what determines not the popular, votes determine who's president. But when you go and look up history, I want you to go research. When you start looking at even in Black Laws Library or dictionary or whatever you want to call it, voting really means that you are choosing who you want to not just who you want to control you. That's the exact meaning of it, right? Electing, you're choosing who you want to represent you to carry out what you want. So when you start hearing the electoral colleges, these people are choosing who they want to do their bidding. We're voting, and I'm using the word we as a populace, we're voting for who we want to control us, right? Because your votes don't, the voting don't have any, you can vote for somebody, they can be 10 times more popular and win more votes than anyone else in the world. But then when those people decide they want to change who the elector or the people who running this, oh, well, we elect them to do this. It's two different concepts. And it's right in your face. And they say it right there during the election all day long, electoral and versus, the votes. And so that is a different concept. Go do some due diligence on that. And just like he said, me too. I don't waste my time in line for that.
Yeah, y'all. We gotta understand the times we're living in, and I've been preparing for this for a long time. You know what I mean? I've been through it all, y'all. I've been preparing for this for a long time, and that's why I decided to start my own community, whether we call it a tribe or whatever. Because I just need the right-minded people together to help me build this thing, so we can take care of our families.
Yeah,
it ain't about me. It's about the children of this community I'm building. It's really about them and their future. We need to build the right foundation for their future. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Someone asked a question, so we shouldn't vote. Devon, on a lower level, like community level, voting can make a difference because there's not an electoral process. But if you notice, they'll say elect such and such, but you got to vote for them, right? If just look at the verbiage of the when they're promoting, no one says vote for me to win. Elect me as your mayor to control the city, but vote for me to be elected. It's kind of like a play on words there, right? So I think in a more smaller place, school boards, different things that is more immediate and close tight, then yeah, you might want to go and do some voting. But if I'm going to stand in line of 100 miles and they're talking about because we got our first black whatever, and then you go all the way back to the Bilderberg groups, you go all the way back to the lineage, and all these people are related and they've been chosen for a long time ago. There's a book called Return of the Vulcans that I read 10, 15 years ago. That really would open my eyes. And this book was talking about how things were predetermined. And if you go back in this book, you will see George Bush Jr. or the youngest one or whatever, the last president that we had. And you saw Colin Powell, you saw Condoleezza Rice, you saw all of these was friends. You can see in the thing where they was hanging out in the military, they also, whoever planned for when they got in the office, like, my dad is this and I'm going to be president, I'm going to let you. And all of a sudden, 20, 15 years later, the same folks are running everything. Colin Powell, the Joint Chief, and she's this, she's that. They were planning this stuff way back then. And so all of this stuff is being planned. So
I want to say something interesting. It's funny where you meet people at. You meet some of the most interesting people in the most random places. But I want to say, when you look at all the presidents, they're all related for a reason.
Mm-hmm. DNA.
So why vote when it's not fair? Because all the presidents are family. Donald Trump is part of the family.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I knew Camilla would never win. That's common sense. She would never win because she's not part of the bloodline. That bloodline is supposed to sit on the throne because the first White House was in Egypt, and they copied the White House from Egypt and they put it over in America. And the first White House was, and that's why they have Osiris's phallus right out in DC as well. So I knew she wasn't part of the bloodline, so she could never win. He was going to win. At the end of the day, I was at a phone company, AT&T. I was getting my phone looked at, switching my phone over. Excuse me. And this old guy just sitting there, Mexican guy, and he's looking at me, telling me, so he's talking, yeah, and I'm listening to him, he knows all this history. I said, oh, that's good, man. I like history. I hear you talking, man. It's like, so we start talking. And then he starts telling me about bloodlines, how important bloodlines are. I said, okay, that's interesting. And he's like, yeah, I was in the FBI for 35 years. What? And this man had to be close to 80. He just sitting there, get somebody to look at his phone. He's like, yeah, I was in the FBI. I was at FBI for years. He said, but man, I wanted to get into the CIA. He said, but I couldn't. I said, why not? He said, because I didn't have the right bloodline. I said, do you need a certain bloodline to get into the CIA? He said, yeah. He said, my son got into the CIA. My son's in the CIA. I'm looking at him like, what? So he gave me
like, it's your son. Why you ain't got the bloodline?
That's what I asked him. I said, how you did it? He said, because of his mother. His mother had
his mother, yeah.
His mother had the bloodline. Because his mother's bloodline, he was able to get into the CIA. He had
and think about Barack becoming president because from his mother's side of the bloodline. Yeah.
Right. So I guess the father had enough. I guess he was good enough to get into the FBI, but he was never good enough to get into the CIA. And I'm like, man, this man sitting here telling me his son is in the CIA because of a blood.
But you know why they do that though? Because they do that because same thing with the elites and then what we're seeing in the Epstein files and why they target certain fathers, certain children to do all this satanic stuff too, because the DNA from that father, it makes it into the kid. If the father was and I'm not saying this for any of you have to be this, but they can go and say if this father was susceptible to this alcoholism or just whatever, then it's a possibility that the child gets the gene or whatever. So they go back to looking at this, especially when they want these SRA or whatever you want to call it, these it could be occults and all that. So they already know they can choose the parents' genealogy, the DNA of these parents that are susceptible to giving up these kids, doing this, being part of this, and keeping a certain DNA going. And it's already been rumored that a lot of them give up their firstborns or they do certain things to bring them into this ritualistic world that they have. But it's all DNA. In fact, in the Epstein's files, which a lot of people, hopefully you paid attention to it, it surfaced about how they were doing the DNA and picking. And remember one of the letter that was released, the email or something that Epstein, somebody was communicating that they did not want any certain black people or a certain type of because of the DNA, right? And so they did not want this to happen. Now I'm gonna double back. I'm reading some books. I'm reading books on about extraterrestrial races and the reptilians and the Greys. They start talking about the Jewish bloodline supposedly had some type of DNA for Israel, and we can't say that here on here anyway, whatever, allegedly. But anyway, there was something about the DNA. Now you go back and tighten. We're talking about reptilians. I'm reading this. It's there. At the same time, now they're releasing that the Epstein file had everything to do with DNA in this back over there in the same country. So that tie in that the reptilians was saying this is this. Now we're hearing this. Don't that make 2 and 2 that goes why we know they're reptilians over there. There's what they are. And so it's right in our faces though. And we just got to track down or connect the dots.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I like to look at the parts of this society that's controlled by, let's say, the Galactic Federation, which represent many different groups. And then I'm going to call the bankers of this world dragons. We can call them reptilians too. I like to call them dragons. You know what I mean? But they are reptilians. Yeah. That's exactly who's fighting right now, the bankers and the scientists.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? The scientists and the bankers. Them are the people who run the world. Either you're a scientist or you're a banker.
Yep.
Either you got money or you know how to do something that's going to manipulate the world. Scientists.
Yeah, we're just the prize. And people don't know it, but we're the prize.
Right, and our souls are recycled down here over and over. We're used as a food source or energy source, and they know it's only one way out with spirituality. So they keep you like that's not important. They forget that, and they're using it behind the scenes.
Yeah,
and they keep us out of it, so we get recycled. We got to keep coming back to this over and over and over and over and over. So yeah, what you say now, brother?
No, I agree with you, man. I would just, concurring or stamping or co-signing is the older word, on what you're saying. But um, I was told three times through three different readings that this was my last time here. And the first time I laughed about it, the second time, and now the third time when I was hearing it, and now I hear it a little bit more. But it also led me down a path where I'm at today, even with our community, because we do talk on a surface level about some of these conspiracies and different things that the Truth versus Authority community, mixers that we're doing. And again, we're doing one this Saturday. Y'all make sure y'all come out, and then movie night. And speaking of that, it was the movie that this man right here recommended. I watched it. I was like, whoa. And speaking of, I ain't going to give it away to him, but boy,
I'm
that
gonna
was
miss it. Come on out.
yeah, that was a real one there. And so so I'll have it and purchase it and have it ready for us. It's 3 episodes. We're gonna watch all 3 and we'll discuss each one afterward. And it's gonna shatter everything for you, shatter it all. And
Please come out. Y'all gonna love it. I'm telling them to please come out. They're gonna love it.
Yeah, because I'm telling you, when he told me and I watched it, I called him up. I said, brother, this is about the deepest shit I've seen in years.
Yeah.
So movie night, February the 20th, Friday night. No kids, please. No kids. None of that. Leave them at home. Put them in a box. Whatever you got to do. Get a babysitter. Just don't bring them. But where I was getting ready to allude to was once I start going down the spiritual side and studying the earth, okay, and going past religion or going past a million years, going back billions of years, then you start looking at all of the different species and different DNA. And when we began this thought of where did they go? Did they leave? Versus saying, what did it look like from a billion years ago to what we are today? Which meaning that in most cases, we are we are them. We could be the dolphin people. We could be that humanoid of all these different things that at one point evolved into where we are. Now, why am I saying that? Now that goes back to the power of the DNA strain and how you want to activate your DNA strain and everything else. So I made a discovery, and that discovery was what I call the God seed or whatever. Now I'm wearing it. Y'all can't really see the symbol through this thing, but it's a discovery. And with that, I found information which probably lead me on a path not to come back here. So I'm studying it and like, okay, I'm gonna do my bio spiritual healing, and I'm going to not be back. And I start looking at my life. I don't know grandkids. I don't have any heirs of all of this. Outside, it's like it's all designed that when I'm gone, I'm gone. But I'll leave the YouTube channel, the videos, and my thoughts and books and all of that stuff. But I am destined to get off the planet. So, and I was telling a friend about. I was looking at a friend about. I was like, you know what? We cool right now, but this might be our last time hooking up. Because when I leave here, I might not see you in another place. Would that still work? And for a minute, I was sad. Like, damn. They're like, fuck that shit. I'm curious.
Yeah, y'all. Trust me, the road don't end here. There's no such thing as death. We just transition. You go from one body, you know what I mean? One body to the next, family.
All right. I'm going to give a shout out to the people who joined our community on Facebook. Real quick, I'll put it back up. There was a few of you joined. I can see, you came from tonight's show, but that's what it looks like. Go to YouTube. I mean, not YouTube. Go to Facebook. Join our community and give a post that you are here, that you join the community, and so we can kind of know that you're here. So we have El Tafari there, and then we have Lisa, and then there was Loida. So there was 3 of you, at least I know, came from the show, joining our community there. And no, once again, Yaya, let me just put it on the screen. Come to Dallas. If you in Dallas, you seen it, go look it up. Yaya World, Yaya77 on Instagram. Boy, we're gonna have a deep ass conversation. We're gonna have a VIP. Maybe we're gonna kick it Friday night, and then of course Saturday we're gonna be there, and she's gonna be there, and me and her, and then of course right after that is my birthday. So when you get a ticket just to come to General and be in there with us, then I want you to hang around, because we're gonna have a little DJ. We're gonna have a little birthday. Now I'm not a a shake your booty party thing, but there may be a song too that you guys can do. But my guy, brother Yosef, will be up, and we just gonna hang out. There'll be a few more people flying in to to celebrate. This will be my first ever celebration, where I know I'm having a party, right? And never had a surprise party, but I'm having a party, and that's in Dallas, February. And my birthday is March 10th, but it's March 14th, because that's the Saturday that we're going to be doing. And I hope you all come, hang out with us right after we sit down with our Truth versus Authority event with Yaya and everything else, and just kind of kick it with us and everything else. Any brother, you want any last words before we get out of here?
No, I'll just say once again, if you guys want to reach out to me, Nu Lyfe Tools, let me type that in the
yeah, type it in, I'll put it on the screen.
Let's see here.
So while he's doing that, and then the cat, there he's got his cat, and
yeah.
But yeah, while he's doing that, Nu Lyfe Tools, and there are descriptions of other things, and I'll go back and add his link in the video too, a description later on for you all to have it to his website as well. But there are links in the description that'll take you to everything else. And like we said, Chemtrails, okay? I don't have but 8 of these. And you and I are going to find this in this detail. This is a USB. You just plug it up into your TV, whatever. It's got the boot. It'll boot up for DVDs. It is 40 DVDs if you want to go find them. Now, this is stuff that was compiled that you're not going to find everywhere else from the web, different places, and turned into DVDs. And some of these sources on the website may sell them individually, $25, $30. And I'm like, man, we had to get all of them because we're learning this stuff. And so to help the community, I put them all on a USB that I'll ship out right to you. And then in that USB is a list that will show you every last one of them. And then there's a number that coincides with it. You click the number on the file and watch it. And it's all about geoengineering. You will become one of the experts in your family. You'll become one of the conversations that you can be heard, and nobody can tell you nothing after you go through all of this stuff. And if you watch this for a few weeks, a month, or whatever, you won't just be entertained. You'll be educated to this. And so again, I have think about 8 of these now. I was planning on we're taking them to our mixer Saturday, which they'll go for sure. But again, I can put these in the mail. We already got them ready for you. Go to the website truthversusauthority.org that you see right on the front page. You can click it, take you to the website, order this, and I'll ship it right out to you ASAP because they're already ready. I just put them in the envelope thing and get it out to you. And then, of course, if you got anything you want to talk about, video conferences, you can set up a phone consultation. Let me put his website up on. I don't see it yet. Did you put it?
Yeah. For some reason, it won't let me do it. That's weird.
All right. So we got community admins and stuff. What do you want? Nu Lyfe Tools?
www.nulyfe, NULYFE.
Oh, hang on. I'm gonna create one for you.
.org.
www.
Somebody asked me.
Say it again for me. I'm gonna put it on the screen. www.
www.NULYFE TOOLS tools at gmail. .org.
All right, let me make sure.
So NuLifeTools.org.
All right, is that it right there?
Yeah, because this, it's really all lowercase, but that's fine. That'll work.
But
that's the right one. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And if you want to email me, it's nulifetools@gmail.com.
All right. So there it is on the screen right there, y'all. I just but it's all lowercase. I was just separating because the way he was calling out to me.
And if you want to email me, nulifetools@gmail.com. And you guys can hit me up for anything you want on there. I do have a YouTube channel, Nu Lyfe Tools on YouTube. And yeah, I have so yeah. If y'all once again, if you guys want to come out this weekend, thank you, M. Thomas. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
If you guys want to come out this weekend, Nu Love Life event, we'll be there. And yeah, we're gonna keep this thing rocking, family. I want to thank Brother Roger Meyer for having me on, of course. Incredible brother.
Man.
You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate it, man. We got a relationship. We're brothers, and we got a relationship. And it's his idea for me to do the birthday. He's like, "You gonna celebrate your birthday?" I said, "Well, He's like, come on, I'll come up there. I said, "Are you coming up here?" Yeah. So I had to remind him because he called me one day. He's like, "Well, I'm doing some March 14th." I said, "No, you're not. I'm having a party because of your ass. You know, what are you talking about?"
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
y'all come on up and just meet all of us. And, you know, we're going to chill, have a little cake. And I got some of my team members in the chat. So I want a birthday cake, you know, and so we'll put together. But support anything that we're doing here with the channel and everything else. Hopefully to see you in the Facebook group. If you got Facebook, come on in there. And we're sharing that. That's a group thing. You know what I'm saying? I do post a lot in there, and hopefully more and more people get involved posting. But that's okay. If you just want to watch, but then get the knowledge. And so appreciate it. All right, brother. I'll talk to you on another one. Okay.
All right, my brother. Have a good one, y'all.
Okay. All right. So tomorrow, Yaya and I is going to do a podcast. We're going to talk. We're going to be live. We'll probably do something toward the forbidden knowledge. And so we're going to be talking about chemtrails. We'll talk about some stuff. So Yaya, who's going to be in Dallas. So make sure y'all watch that tomorrow, 8 p.m. On Forbidden Knowledge. So we'll be over there. And then we're going to do another podcast here throughout the week. Some other people that we're having leading up to our event. And of course, we're just really excited. So I will definitely give you a shout out for those of you, if you go to our website or truthversusauthority.org. And when you go there, you know, support anything that you can as far as any of our products, or what I would say, if you want to do a phone consultation, you can do that. I was, you know, something I didn't like to do for quite some time because I'm always just been available. But now, but if you want some of the things that we can talk about in video chat that we cannot talk about here, and you want some answers and things that I can share with you, I'll be more than happily do it in more of a private setting so that we don't get nicked for it and everything else. And so, and hopefully this conversation stays up, because the last time me and Brother Yosef did a show, the minute we got off, within 20 minutes, YouTube took it down. So other than that, we didn't violate anything tonight, I would assume. And so we would do that. So with that being said, I love you. If you have not heard love this weekend, I want you to know I love you, and I truly am standing for that, you know, and hope that each and every one of you begin a process of giving love, raising love, saying love, so that the energy of it that go. And sometimes it gets really tough to do that. It can get really tough, but stick with it, stick behind it, and mean what you say and say what you mean, of course. But at the same time, eventually it will boomerang itself back to you, because it's energy, and energy is not going anywhere. It's just moving. And when enough of it is put out from you, it is not by happenstance that it's going to come back. It has to. So with that being said, love each and every one of you. I will talk with you tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, and then we will do some more throughout this week, and hopefully I'll see you Saturday. Now, our events were free, but we are asking for a little $10 to pay for the rooms and stuff, and I know it's worth that as we grow it and everything else. And so we had to do it. We got to do it. Hopefully over time, as you will see that your involvement in everything is really important to do that. And so once again, I love you, and I will see you all soon enough. So with that being said, I am out.
UFOs,
UAPs,
unidentified anomalous phenomena,
unidentified aerial phenomenon.
Who are they? Where are they from? And what is their intent?
all questions that immediately come to mind with the mention of UFOs. A Pentagon report is detailing a dramatic increase in UFO sightings, more than 350 since 2021. Many of them are explained as being drones, birds, or weather events, but about half of them remain unexplained.
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA.
My gosh.
They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Look at that thing, dude.
This video taken by the Navy showing what he describes as pyramid-shaped UFOs flying over the USS Russell off the San Diego coast in July of 2019. The Pentagon has since confirmed that the video is authentic.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army. Army officers say the missile, found sometime last week, has been inspected at Roswell, New Mexico, and sent to Wright Field, Ohio, for further inspection. Late this afternoon, a bulletin from New Mexico suggested that the widely publicized mystery of the flying saucers may soon be solved. Army Air Force officers reported that one of the strange discs had been found and inspected sometime last week. Our correspondents in Los Angeles and Chicago have been in contact with Army officials endeavoring to obtain all possible late information. Joe Wilson reports to us now from Chicago. The Army may be getting to the bottom of all this talk about the so-called flying saucers. As a matter of fact, the 509th Atomic Bomb Group headquarters at Roswell, New Mexico, reports that it has received one of the discs which landed on a ranch outside Roswell. The disc landed at a ranch at Corona, New Mexico, and the rancher turned it over to the Air Force. Rancher W.W. Brazil is the man who discovered the saucer.
There's footage and records of objects in the skies that we don't know exactly what they are.
More people are coming forward with their own sightings.
Videos recorded by U.S. Navy personnel have added a new layer of evidence to the current national debate about UFOs.
Right at that moment, I saw what looked like 5 lights flying in formation in kind of an inverted check mark.
The NASA independent study team did not find any evidence that UAP have an extraterrestrial origin. We don't know what these UAP are.
The mysterious flying objects are still a mystery. NASA will continue investigating them and has appointed a director of UAP research.
Technology that we faced was far superior than anything that we had.
Fly!